Have you ever found the perfect dress and rushed to find the listing only to be slapped in the face with a price tag in the thousands? Because same. And honestly, it left me sobbing. But then I remembered, I can sew. And after approximately 3 seconds of consideration, I decided that recreating it couldn't be that hard, right? It took me 40 minutes of stalking the aisles at Spotlight to find fabric for this particular project, and I'm fairly certain that I'm gonna regret the choice that I made. The dress I'm using as inspiration is made from taffeta, and I chose rayon. So we're already making brilliant choices because rayon is not exactly known for doing what it's told. It was more budget friendly though, so I was gonna start this project by just slapping some shapes on some paper and hoping for the best, but I am also filming this intro 10% of the way into the project, and when I tried to do that, my brain effectively blue screened. So there was a pivot, and now we're using a free pattern from Mood because I figured at least it has the style lines I want, so you know, close enough, and I've just been adjusting it as needed. Is this gonna be a disaster? We're gonna find out. The first order of business was cutting my first mock-up and using the pattern I downloaded from Mood. Honestly, this mock-up was just to see if it would be an acceptable base pattern. The mock-up is done. I did my mock-up with the Mood pattern, and based on how it is looking, because it is currently nothing how I want it to look, I've made some adjustments to the pattern. No one asked for your opinion, Teddy. So the princess seams seem fine. I'm pretty happy with them. I could probably play around with them, but I can't be bothered. Running behind because of an emergency room trip will do that to you. I can't be asked. So I am going to sew a second mock-up because I've adjusted my pattern. I think the adjustments I made, I took some out of the sleeve, changed the neckline, and also the neckline at the back because neither one of them are how I want them to look. I need to find some more mock-up fabric, and let's go on to take 2 of the mock-up.
A few moments later.
It's really hard to gauge how this is fitting because I am home alone, which means I don't have anyone who can... No, wait, I can do this. Give me a sec. I can pin the top. I do have some thoughts, and I do think it needs some further adjustment, but I don't know if I can be bothered making a third mock-up. I probably should, but I probably won't. So this is not exactly sitting correctly. However, this is also either gonna have bias binding or a lining that is gonna tuck it down. So like maybe it won't be so gapey, I don't know. I don't know whether to trust it. I guess like worst comes to worst, if it doesn't end up fixing it, I can always like chuck some baby darts in here and probably in here. I don't know. It's just like, there's a whole lot of things to think about and I don't know if I can be bothered.
Sadly, I had no choice but to be bothered thinking about the things and moving on to creating the third mock-up for this dress. For this mock-up, I did make more changes to the pattern to reflect the original design of the Molly Goddard dress, but making it more body-friendly since the original didn't have much in the way of shaping through the bodice. And it was at this point that I had my first fail of the project while trying to install the zipper.
May have just broken my first sewing needle.
I'm pretty confident the tip is not supposed to be hanging in midair like that. Eventually, I did get that zipper installed.
Third mock-up complete, so let's go iron the last of the seams and try it on. I need help to get it done up. And my partner is currently indisposed, so we can't look at it all the way done up. Even though I took the time to put in an actual zipper so that we could test it out. However, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's a trust the process kind of deal here. And it's really hard to tell. I think the back needs more room in that back panel because it is just really struggling at my waistline. The front isn't actually too bad, but yeah, it is just not wanting to sit. And I'm thinking the easiest way to do that would actually be to add a little bit more to this side seam to loosen up the stress on this.
I was dead wrong here, and the side seams were not the answer. I ended up angling the centre back seam line to allow for more room over the generous booty that I have going on, and I trimmed off the other side so that it wouldn't end up wider than it should be. I was deluded at the start, thinking there was any way a straight line was going to make it over my very much not straight backside. I recut and re-sewed the back panels only, reinstalled the zipper, and finally was done with the mock-ups. It's good enough, so let's move on. Constructing the bodice went fairly smoothly, aside from the rayon needing way more pins than it should. One less pin and the damn thing would have been trying to conjure an interdimensional portal to escape through, and you know what? I may have let it if it wasn't so pretty.
It's been a night. I have constructed the main bodice of the dress, which was a mission. Princess seams and rayon. Kind of painful. I think, because here's the kicker, I did just join a gym.
I'm about to go on a side tangent here, but I promise it does circle back to being relevant.
My inner thighs are mega sore right now because I have not worked out properly in a long time. However, I did join Planet Fitness, which I think is an American chain, but out of all the gyms in my area, most of their memberships are like $22 a week, somewhere around there, and they have contracts, which means you're locked into it for a certain amount of time. This place, zero joining fee, $11 a week for the premium membership, 24/7 open times, and I get access to the spa in my membership. And I tell you what, for someone who has never stuck to a gym membership in their life, I'm pretty sure those hydrojet massage beds are gonna be the thing that gets me to commit. So I've already been twice. I'm quite proud of myself. This also means that the likelihood of my body changing is high. So while the rayon is annoying me, and I love the way it looks though,
I should be more surprised that I got distracted talking about the fabric here that I forgot to finish that thought. If you wanted an idea of what it's like to live in my head, this is it. There are 1,000 tabs open, half of them are crashing, and no one knows where the music is coming from. But to wrap this neglected thought up, I was trying to say that I am probably going to treat this dress as a wearable toile and redo it in linen down the track, when spending more money on fabric might be less of a waste.
like, don't get me wrong, it is stunning. Like, I haven't shown you guys the fabric yet. I mean, you've seen it while I've been cutting and stuff, but I haven't talked about it. I found this. I know the original was gingham, but I had a look at the ginghams and none of them seemed like me. Rather than blow my budget on something that wasn't actually going to make me that happy, I decided to pivot and go for the rayon because it was on sale, and I picked this up for $8.40 a meter, whereas all the other fabrics I was looking at were about $16 a meter. So I'm fairly happy with my choice there, as much as it's a pain in the butt to work with. She's very pretty though. I really like the abstract pattern. I think it's really cute. My partner really loves it. He has actually requested a shirt out of the same material. So if I have leftover, he'll get a shirt. If I don't, I'll have to go buy more. But it's a project for another day though. I really can't be bothered thinking about that right now. My brain is occupied with this dress. Basically, I'm torn between doing a facing or bias binding everything. I've overlocked all of my seams, so nothing's going to fray on the inside. I don't really think a lining is necessary, and honestly, I quite like how light and breezy it is, just being a single layer dress. So I'm going to have to think about that. I am going to have to adjust it. I did try it on, I forgot to take footage, but it is a bit loose here. So I have a feeling I'm going to have to put it on tomorrow, pin it out, and then adjust that princess seam, just so that it actually fits correctly.
To get the fit of this right for my body, I put it on inside out and pinned it under my bust so it would hug my body more. Once I had that section done, I marked the change with a water erasable pen and sewed another line of stitching along the mark.
Okay, so we've just adjusted those princess seams and they're not perfect, but they are a lot better. So we're gonna leave it there because I'm not futzing with this pattern more than necessary for an okay fit. I do plan on making it again, probably in linen because rayon kind of sucks. I mean, it feels really nice on the skin, but it's a pain in the butt to work with. So yeah, we're gonna call it good enough and move on to the side panels.
So here you can see me rounding off the top edge of my side panels, and apparently I got so focused with this part that I forgot to film anything until I was overlocking the seam attaching it to the bodice. Oops. I'm gonna blame the fact that I loathe gathering with a passion, which is rather unfortunate for this project. Anyway, I just used the full width of my fabric for each side panel and then I gathered it down. I hope that helps.
Look, it's not perfect and I don't quite know how I feel about it at this current stage, but we are nowhere near done. We still have to finish the neckline and armholes and also add all the ruffling. And I have a feeling that's gonna add a whole lot of detail that might change my mind completely. Right now, I'm feeling a little bit meh on it. I do love these. The gathered at the side, very cute. Ooh, I'm too old to do that. That made me way too dizzy. I do like it. I'm not sure if it's going to give what I want it to give at the end. And I think that's discouraging me a little bit. And I also think my brain may be looking for outs so that I don't have to do all this ruffling. Pogi, you weigh too much to lean on me like that. You're very cute, but you are very heavy. Yeah, that's basically the check-in at the moment. Like, it's cute.
Time for finishes. I went for the easiest option with the neckline and armholes. Found some pre-made bias binding in my tub of random sewing stuff that lives on top of my freezer and sewed that on. Not my finest finishing work, but honestly, the fabric is so dark, no one is going to notice my subpar stitch work. And I wasn't wrangling this rayon to make matching bias binding. I had to even up the front and the back panels to match the sides, and then I did a narrow hem along the bottom, which took a while because this skirt is 3.7 meters in diameter. But with all of that done, the base dress is 100% complete.
I'm not entirely sure how even that hem is, and it's none of my business because I can't really see it. So the main dress is done. Now I've got to ruffle everything. And I may have already done some slight calculations on said ruffles and figured that because the side panels at least are about 1.5 meters wide, that means I have a base skirt circumference of about 3.2 meters. That means that I need to do 9 rows of about 6.5 meters. That is a lot of meters. I'm gonna be doing this for a while, so I need to start cutting strips, hem both sides, and then gather. It's gonna be so much fun.
2,000 years later.
It's been a number of days since I've turned the camera on. And I'm not gonna lie, I can't even remember the last time I spoke to the camera and what I was yapping about. So I did finish the dress, or at least the main dress, and got up to the ruffles. That's where everything went south because they're so big and I need so many of them. And I did the math after completing the first one. It took me an hour to do each rolled hem. I need 2 rolled hems per ruffle per my original plan, and that would have meant 18 hours of hemming. That's not even gathering and attaching these ruffles. So I think I changed direction on that one because I'm on a deadline. I do not have 18 hours to spare just for hemming alone. So I've changed the plan. Also, I'm kind of like really happy that I am so short because my original plan to do 9 ruffles may not end up working with the proportions of the dress because of my height. So we'll see how many I end up actually needing. I did do this one. Each side has a rolled hem on it. Ended up being about just over 2 inches thick. So that's perfect. Beautiful, love it. Pain in the ass to do. Did not enjoy it, but you know, it is what it is. That's the look I want, that's what we're doing. I then realized that because I'm attaching ruffles on top of ruffles, that I can probably get away with not having to double hem every single ruffle. I may be able to get away with just double hemming the top ruffle of each section. So I did the second ruffle yesterday, which went a lot quicker because I overlocked the top edge because I figure that the middle and top ruffle should be sitting far enough over that you're not really gonna see that overlocked edge anyway, and I didn't have the energy to care about it. So that's where I'm currently at. I have 2 out of 9. I have 7 to go. I'm so not enthused right now.
Just as a quick note, if you can hear a difference in my voice, I should have finished my voiceovers the other night when my mic was charged instead of deciding that I would wait until Thursday, because Thursday came and this is how I sound. So, lesson learned, do your voiceovers once the mic charges, don't wait extra time. Did I mention how much I loathe gathering? Right now, I am questioning my life choices because throughout the process of completing all of these ruffles, I managed to fit in an entire rewatch of the entire series of Sweet Tooth on Netflix.
Damn.
I ended up only attaching 5 ruffles in the end because this is my project and I can change my mind if I want to. But seriously, I couldn't get the top section of ruffles to look good at all, so I quit and decided this dress was done. I was aiming for inspired by rather than direct recreation anyway, at least that is what I am telling myself this far into the process. And now that all of those ruffles are complete, let's have a look at how it turned out.
All the girls with pretty mouths, they always walk your way. They follow you in cars and bars and even on airplanes. I'm special, yeah, I'm special, 'cause they just don't got, oh, they just don't got what I've got. I'm someone you can take home to meet your mom and pa. I'm your trashy little cupcake dressed in polka dots. So be a loudmouth Yankee lady, baby, you're just the cowboy that I'm looking for.
Final thoughts. I would say I failed at making a recreation, but I did a decent job of making something inspired by the original dress. And overall, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, even if it wasn't what I originally was aiming for. It has also given me a much clearer picture of how I could do this in a way that fits my style better, because this is cute, but it's not something I'd probably wear much. And I do have some ideas about how I could make it work for my wardrobe a little bit better, using the details of the original dress that were what got me really interested in it in the first place. Although I'm pretty sure it's going to be a long time before I even attempt that, because I'm almost certain that all of the ruffling has traumatized me spiritually. Overall, spending $50 on a dress was a lot better than spending $2,500, and I learned some new things along the way that I'm pretty happy with. Like, upskilling is always a plus. Anyway, I'm gonna go crawl into bed and sleep, and I will see you guys in 2 weeks. Bye.